Posterior Tibialis Tendinitis, or also could be posterior tibial tendon dysfunction, PTTD or PTT. And usually the tendinitis will lead to the dysfunction. So you want to catch it before it gets there. And really what it means is that we've overused our posterior tibialis tendon, and you end up getting pain along the inside of your foot, along the arch and up through the ankle. And it gets pretty painful and pretty annoying. It's usually from an overuse of walking, running, hiking. And it happens because our foot isn't strong enough, and you end up overusing the one big tendon that's there. If you really let it go, that arch is really gonna collapse. You're gonna be walking more like a duck. So you have to walk this way because you don't have that arch holding you up anymore, and it's down here. And so what do your feet do? They go out to the sides, and that's what's gonna start propelling you forward, and the pain is just gonna continue. It's gonna get worse. With a tendinitis, you actually wanna load the tendon in an eccentric fashion, so like the opposite of its normal contraction. So the posterior tibialis muscle inverts the foot and it plantar flexes the foot, and so we wanna work that. Here, you guys, you can see my actual tendon of my posterior tib. So it runs down, so the muscle is all the way up here, connects from the back of your calf, and it's deep to your calf muscles, so it's behind the gastroc and the soleus, and it is medial, so it's on the inside of your leg. The tendon runs down, and you can usually feel it or see it. You can see how I'm flexing mine right now, right? And it's running right under my arch, so it's connecting to these bones right here. And then it also connects to 2, 3, and 4, I believe it attaches to, which means that it helps to support that arch in there. So that the arch that runs this way, it's supporting it. So if there's a dysfunction with this arch, which a lot of people have because of everyday footwear, narrow footwear is gonna cramp your toes and not allow this arch to help anymore. It's not gonna be on. So now your posterior tib is doing even more. So the goal of me explaining all of this is to educate everybody on our feet and explain the other option to wearing orthotics for the rest of your life. And overall, creating more tightness in your foot and more weakness in your foot. So you're basically not helping yourself by doing that in the long run. It's gonna feel really good in the beginning for the first few weeks. It'll be great because you've taken all the load off of your foot. You put in an orthotic in there, a big insert for your arch. Your arch isn't collapsing anymore, it's helping it. But overall, it's not helping it. It's actually making it weaker and weaker and weaker as the days, weeks, and years go on. So let's figure out a way to strengthen it and keep it that way. So the first thing we want to do is mobilize the tissue. So you saw that the tissue actually runs, all those tendons connect to the bottom of the foot, which means we need to roll out the bottom of the foot to mobilize that tissue and to get it to move again. So remember, there's a lot of stiffness when we wear traditional shoes that taper at the toe box and that have built-in arches. If you're wearing running shoes primarily throughout the day, then you're definitely having weakened foot muscles as a result. So start mobilizing that tissue. Just grab a ball. My favorite thing is the foot rub. So it has little nubby spikes instead of like hardcore spikes. This is fine if you have a sock on. This is good if you're barefoot, and we always want to be barefoot. So you remember the tendon runs down here and connects to these bones to begin with. So that's a good spot to roll out. And really, you can't go wrong with anywhere that you roll out. If it hurts, then that's where you need to be. And then you also don't want to overdo it. You want to roll it for a few minutes, but never overdo that mobilizing of tissue because you can easily inflame it too. So just a few minutes, and then you want to roll around those digits 2 through 4 underneath the metatarsals, which are the bones that connect to the toes. So all of that, you really can't go wrong, but you're probably going to feel the most tightness and tension throughout your arch. So once you've loosened it, now you got to strengthen it. So you want a tennis ball, and you want it in between your heels. We'll pretend that's a tennis ball. And you want to keep your feet parallel with each other. You want to hold on to something for balance. You want to squeeze the ball and then lift straight up. So by doing this, I'm using my plantar flexors and my inverters. And what is the primary one of those? That would be the post tib. So squeeze and down. And you just want to make sure that you're not letting your feet do funky things like roll to the inside or roll to the outside. You want to keep the toes splayed. You want to push through that big toe and push the heels together. And you want to do about 30 of those. Now for eccentric motion. So eccentric is the opposite of the muscle's action, right? It's like when it's returning from its action. So if this is the posterior tib, it does plantar flexion and it does inversion. Then when it's lowering, that's its eccentric motion. And so to start, just get the plantar flexors moving eccentrically. We want to work on this. Slow up with 2, slow down with 1. Up with 2, down with 1. If you're really flared up in the beginning, if you've progressed all the way to a posterior tib dysfunction and your foot has actually collapsed and you're beyond tendinitis, some of these things might be pretty painful. So let's start with a band, seated. You're just going to loop a band around your foot. And remember, posterior tib's actions are plantar flexion and inversion, so towards the inside. So we're going to take the opposite foot, loop it around, and you are going to push inwards and down and come back. And this is good even if you didn't have pain doing the calf raises. This is still a really good exercise for that post tib, especially if you're going to hold and slowly lower it or return it to the center. Push down and in, hold, and slowly return. And you should feel that arch burning after a few reps. And you should be able to do about 30 of those. If there's no discomfort, then try 2 sets of 30. So you want to mobilize. If you have a foam roller, you want to foam roll your calves, especially the inside of the calf where that muscle is located. And then, of course, you want to be able to start working on your intrinsic foot muscles. You can work all day on that posterior tib strength and your calf strength and even like your anterior tib, which is the opposite of it, where it dorsiflexes the foot. You can work on those all day long, but if you don't have foot strength, if you're just addressing the ankle, and if you're not addressing your footwear and trying to get out of really tight shoes with a positive heel versus 0 heel drop, then, and also if you're in a running shoe and the toe is like this, then again you're inhibiting your foot muscles. So footwear is a huge thing. It's actually the first thing that you should think about and look at and reconsider and educate yourself. And if you need some tips on those, then I've got plenty of info on those. Overall, we want to mobilize the tissue. We want to strengthen the tissue, and we want to re-educate the tissue. We want to re-educate all those little foot muscles to help support your foot and your ankle. And the only way we can do that is with the right shoes. So get on top of that.